What's going on, dudes and dudettes? It's Pip Surfer with another daily update for the Cowabunga system. Today's Thursday, June 17th, 2010. And I'm just going to jump right into it by addressing some of the comments from yesterday's post. First one is from Lady wants to know where you can get the PDF version of the School of Pipsology. As far as I know, it is not available anymore with the PDF version, so I don't think there's a link at all. I think, if I'm correct, I believe they are working on a new PDF version, so that should be coming out sometime. I'm not really sure. Your best bet is to go to the contact page on Baby Pips, which, let me see if I can help you. It's down here at the very bottom. Click on this contact page and email them directly, so hopefully that helps. The next comment from Cray8, I totally get what you're saying on your opinion there with your reward to risk ratio. You definitely want, it's always more beneficial, I would say, if your reward exceeds your risk. However, there is an exception to this rule. When you have an R ratio, reward to risk ratio, that's greater than 1, then it's great, because what that means is that you don't have to be correct all the time. In fact, you could be only right, let's say 30% of the time, but if your reward to risk ratio is above 3, meaning most of your rewards are 3 times greater than what you're risking, then even if you were to only win 35% of your trades, you would still be profitable. Now, because my reward to risk ratio is less than 1, that means that I have to win more than 50% of the times in order for me to be profitable in the long run. So don't let that confuse you. I know that thinking is prevalent, and it is. As a rule of thumb, if you're confused, definitely let your reward be greater than your risk, because you'll be safer that way. But all that means is that if your reward to risk ratio is greater than 1, that means you can win less than 50% of your trades. The greater your reward to your risk, the less percentage you have to win. Now, if your reward to risk ratio isn't so great, if it's less than 1, then you're definitely going to want to make sure that you're winning a high percentage of times. That's why this system is still profitable, even though the reward to risk ratio is not so great, because over the long run, it's been proven to win about 70% of the time. So that's why this system is still profitable. Again, I know that thinking can kind of be confusing, but don't let that throw you off. It just determines on how often you should be winning your trades when you have that R value. That's why I always post my R multiple on the trade, so that you can see what it is, and by your own calculations can determine an average R multiple there. So hopefully that'll help you out. And again, I know that can be confusing. So good question, and hopefully I answered it correctly. Now I have my 15-minute, my 4-hour chart open for the cable. I'm going to open my 4-hour chart. And so yesterday afternoon we did have a new trend change candle for a downtrend, and at the start of our day our trend was down. Now if I move through today's action, you can see we did get some strong bullish movement here at the end. However, there were no new trend change candles during our session, so the trend is still down the entire day despite having this great bullish run here. So don't let that confuse you. The trend is still down until we see a new trend change candle. So the entire day today I only look for short trades. Now if I go to my 15-minute chart, I'll move this back to before midnight so you can see what it looked like. Now before I start trading, I do want to take a look at my news events for the day. So you can go to babypips.com, click on this tools tab, automatically brings up the news events for the day. And remember, we're looking for news that affects the UK or the US, so under this currency column, I'm looking for anything that says GBP or USD. And if I go down to 4:30, you can see that we had retail sales for the UK, so I'm going to jot that down. 6 a.m. we had CBI industrial trends, not a big deal there, so I'm not going to jot that down, even though it is a news report for the UK, so I'm not worrying about that. However, if I go down to 8:30, you can see that I had CPI for the US, and I am going to jot that down because that's semi-important. And then at 10 a.m. we had the Philadelphia Fed survey, which is also semi-important as well, so I'm going to jot that down. So 4:30, 8:30, and 10 a.m. Eastern Time, those were the times I was going to watch out for. So all I'm doing there is I'm putting it down in a notepad, and you can do the same thing or set some kind of alarm to let you know when those news events are coming out, because you don't want to be in the market when it does come out. Alright, so now that I have my news events handy, I know I'm only looking for short trades, I can now begin my day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my chart forward one candle at a time and give you my thought process along the way. And remember, the goal here is to get you to start thinking the way that I think when it comes to trading the system. And once you do that, then it'll give you some consistency and you know that you're trading the system correctly. And then you can rest assured and just put your trust into the stats over the long run that it will be profitable. Alright, so now moving forward, and right at the beginning of my day, I do get a crossover to the short side. RSI's below 50, stochastic's trending down. MACD was positive and is losing value on this candle, so it is a valid entry. This closes at 12:30 a.m. My news event isn't until 4:30, so I have quite some time there for my trade to run. So I'm going to go ahead and enter here. And you want to enter at the close of the candle or as close to it as possible. In this case, it's at 46.94. Your stop will be at the most recent swing high, which is at 47.15. And the nearest 0.50 level is at 46.50, and that gives us about 44 pips of potential profit. This one is a case of having a good reward to risk ratio, so that's comforting to know. And now I'll just watch my trade, and I'm moving it forward, just kind of speeding it up here. And you can see, unfortunately, we do get stopped out. This is at 2 a.m., so we do get stopped out at 47.15. And really, you don't want to dwell on that too much. Just jot it down in your notepad and continue to look for more trades. But that is a loss. Now here we get another crossover. This is at 2:30. RSI is below 50. Stochastic's trending down. MACD was positive and losing value. News again isn't until 4:30, so we do have some time here. So I'm going to go ahead and enter this one. And you want to enter at the close of the candle again, or as close to it as possible. In this case, it's at 46.69. Your stop will be at the most recent swing high, which is at 47.18, and your nearest 0.50 level is right at 46.50 again. So it gives us about 19 pips of potential profit. And again, I'm just going to watch it. And you can see that our target was hit at 3 a.m. and it closed right at our target. So at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and exit. I know news is coming out in about an hour and a half or so, but I'm just going to go ahead and exit there. One of my reasonings is because, we just saw that new downtrend, so I'm not too confident in this, momentum to the downside. So I'm just going to go ahead and exit there right at my target. And that's just one of my inklings there. If we were seeing a long, nice, strong downtrend, then I probably would have moved it and, kind of watched my stop there and try to go for more pips, but that wasn't the case here. So it's 4 o'clock here. I know news is coming out, and here's 4:30 right there. So there's news. And again, I'm still looking for short trades, even though we're seeing this huge bullish run. So here's 8:30 right here, not much going on. Again, I'm still only looking for short trades. Here's the 10 a.m. candle. I'm still looking for short trades. Here we get a crossover at 10:30. RSI is below 50. Stochastic's trending down. However, MACD was already negative on the previous candle. So therefore, that would cancel out the signal. We would not enter there because MACD was already negative. So no entry there, even though we did get a crossover. So you just let that pass by. And as I'm doing this, it's about 11:45, and most likely we're not going to get a trade in the next 10 minutes or so. Even if you do get a crossover, that would be probably not a good decision to enter because it is late in the day. So we had 2 trades today, 1 loss, 1 win. But again, kind of like yesterday, but you got to keep taking the trades if you see them. Try not to be too selective because that will distort your statistics, so to speak. So trust in the system, trust in the rules. If you have any questions about anything, don't hesitate to ask. I'll try my best to answer them. But that's it for today's update. I'll see you all in the next one. Cowabunga, dude.